Good evening, I'm Harry Keeling, and on behalf of Alaska Public Media and the Alaskan Aviation Safety Foundation, welcome to Hangar Flying. Our guest this evening is Shaun Williams. Shaun's a very recent hire at our Anchorage office of the National Transportation Safety Board, or NTSB. Shaun's a graduate of University of North Dakota, and after graduation worked there as a flight instructor. Shaun has flown 121 ops in the CRJ and Beech 1900, came to Alaska in August of 2012, worked for the FAA as an ops inspector for a while until he was hired on with the NTSB in November 2014. Welcome, Shaun.
Thank you.
Shaun, you were telling me earlier that you've landed your perfect job. Throughout your aviation career, you were focused on safety and being able to make a contribution. Now you're here in Alaska doing exactly that.
Yes.
Talk about that.
Oh, it's great. Ever since I first started with aviation, it's always been safety driven, and to be able to move on and move up through the ranks and kind of do your time type of thing, it's great to finally be where I want to be and where I see myself finishing out my aviation career.
And I got to tell you, because your boss, Clint, and I are very good friends, and you got a great team.
Thank you.
Both here in Anchorage and with Bryce up in Fairbanks. You're in a great spot. What about specific training? Did you have to undergo any, or will you have to undergo any as a inspector?
Yeah, what we do is once we get hired on, you go down to the Ashburn Training Center out in Virginia for 2 weeks of it's intro into accident investigation down there, and then everything else is more on the job. You're out there with seasoned investigators and learning the ropes from them.
Okay, so I know that currently you're involved with the mid-air. I'm not going to ask you about that, but just
Yes,
to point out that they didn't waste any time getting you started.
No, sir. This was actually my third launch.
Really?
Yes, I went down to Salt Lake and also down into Tucson for separate launches.
Oh, wow. You and I talked briefly about this, and I think we share a passion for finding a way to prevent future stall spin accidents.
Yes, sir.
Talk about that.
There seems to be, every year, you hear about all the stall spins, what the Alaska coined term, moose stalls or bear stalls. And when you start looking, there hasn't been any requirement to continue any stall training at all once you get your certificates. So I think that should continue. That needs to be out there to keep working towards that.
You know, I find that to be amazing, but it's not the first time I've heard it. I've had pilot friends of mine say, you know, I haven't done stalls since I got my certificate, and that may have been 5 or 10 or 15 years ago. And I agree with you. We have got to change that. Is that the responsibility of the, let's say in a BFR, is that the pilot's responsibility or the CFI's responsibility, or both?
I think it's more of a shared. The CFI should kind of push the student a little bit, and if there's something that you're uncomfortable with, that's the time to work on it. You're already paying for the instructor to be there. Use them. Tap that resource. He's there.
Absolutely. Well, again, you're required to get a BFR, but what it consists of, there's a lot of leeway, but I agree with you. Instructors ought to really be pushing the stall recovery. How about spin training?
Spin training is another one. If you look at the regs, you don't actually have to do a spin until you go to get your CFI. You have to talk about them. You have to be able to explain them, but you don't actually have to do one. And to incorporate that into the training should be a priority in my book. And you can even take it one step further, and this gets into the whole political side of requiring maybe a spin endorsement before you go do a check ride, just from your instructor.
Well, I couldn't agree more. I think it should be required, but there's nothing to say you can't, as a private pilot, find an instructor and find one who understands spins and who does spin training, not somebody who just flies around the flagpole. But say, hey, can we go up and you teach me how to enter and recover from a spin?
Absolutely.
One real last question. We got about a minute left. What one thing do you think we could do as an aviation community that might make it safer to fly in Alaska?
Just to understand that the training doesn't have to stop the day you get your certificate. It can continue. You should always be striving to get better at things. I believe that's a big thing that would help.
Training and proficiency.
Exactly.
Shaun, thanks for being on the program
Thank
tonight.
you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed tonight's program. It's made possible by KAKM, Alaska Public Media, but also the Alaskan Aviation Safety Foundation. We're a member-supported organization. If you haven't renewed your membership for 2015, please do. If you're not a member, please go to our website, www.aasfonline.org. There's an application in there. It's $35 a year, and it helps us bring you programs like this and the safety seminars we have in the spring and the fall. Ladies and gentlemen, until next time, fly safe.